Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is Bill Olson, our trading anchor, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. We're going to get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are on the rise this morning, with S&P futures up 0.46%, Dow futures up 0.43%, and Nasdaq futures up 0.77%. You can see the Nasdaq 100 index really leading U.S. equity futures higher this morning, while Treasury yields are remaining steady. Futures on the S&P and Dow Jones are also eluding to recovery in the underlying gauges after their slump Tuesday from the pandemic setback for reopening favorites. Shares of Intel are rising in pre-market trade after the company revealed a plan to make chips for other companies in light of current global shortage. Chairman Jerome Powell helped to relieve fears yesterday that a growth breakout will force tighter central bank policy. And coming up today and Thursday are Treasury auctions, and these will be closely watched for the direction of yields since a disastrous 7-year auction sparked a global bond sell-off last month. Today's offering includes a $61 billion of 5-year notes. Elsewhere in markets, WTI crude oil is rising more than 3% after a container ship ran aground in and blocked off travel and traffic to the Suez Canal. Over in Europe, stocks edged lower, with cyclical stocks including banks and auto firms taking losses, while over in Asia, a gauge of the Asia Pacific shares fell the most in about 2 weeks. Hong Kong equities fell to a 10% correction in 5 weeks amid the city's decision to temporarily suspend BioNTech's vaccines. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
Shane, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning, and they're steadily climbing higher, which is a really good sign, especially after what happened in Asia overnight. This morning, we have Powell and Yellen. They're going to be speaking again, this time to the Senate Banking Committee. Tech shares are really moving higher this morning, and it really comes down to that increase from Intel, where they increased their EPS and their 2021 revenue guidance late yesterday. We told you about the meeting that was happening yesterday morning. It was a good positive sign that you knew this new CEO wanted to bring something to the table, and he delivered what was very positive news yesterday. That's why you see Intel jumping 5% this morning, and the rest of the tech sectors is following their lead. Oil's rebounding. That Suez Canal thing is an issue. It did stop all traffic. I hear that there's another way to get the oil down the Suez Canal. They call it the older stream, and that is open, and cargo ships are flowing through it, so it's not totally blocked anymore, which is a good sign. But you see oil prices, they're rebounding to this news because it really is a supply issue if they're not able to get it out of the waterways. Economic issues. This is what we got to watch for. This morning, we got the GDP report. And then at 10 o'clock, we have the PMI composite flash report. This is the manufacturing report, and it's the early report for early March. If this is positive, you're going to see the market move even higher this morning. So let's keep an eye out for that PMI composite flash report today.
Definitely. Well, looking at our earnings to watch today, we had a lot of movers. Definitely Adobe had a good move. Bill, why don't you tell us about it?
Well, I saw Adobe come out. They delivered a solid beat on both earnings and revenue. That's why the stock's trading a bit higher this morning. GameStop, they missed by a penny, and you're looking at that stock selling off. We mentioned yesterday that this stock could move 21%. And sure enough, you're looking at it this morning, it's down 15%, but it was trading higher, after the earnings announcements, but it is really coming in. At home, they really delivered a beat. They delivered a strong beat on both earnings and EPS, and that's why the stock's going to be trading higher today. And Steelcase, they came in, they missed earnings, but they still are, it's a pretty weak sign for Steelcase. The street was expecting more from these guys. But that's what I'm seeing, as far as last night's earnings.
What are you seeing as far as insights on upcoming earning announcements, Bill?
In terms of upcoming announcements, we have Guess. It's ticker GES, and they're coming out this afternoon, and they're priced for a 15% move. Now, Guess reported really strong third quarter numbers last quarter, and however, in that release, they said that they expect the fourth quarter numbers for fiscal 2021 to be in the low to mid 20s, and they feel like they're going to be impacted by lower customer traffic in the stores related to the pandemic and temporary government mandated store closures, especially in Europe and Canada, and as well as some permanent store closures. This does not bode well for the stock. It doesn't bode well for the earnings. You can see as of late, it's been selling off. I'd be surprised if these guys can come in with a strong beat. They like they did last quarter. So I'd be very cautious on shares of Guess, ticker GES. KB Homes is also releasing after the close. That's ticker KBH. They're priced for a 10.6% move. Now, this stock has room to run. Last quarter, they beat by 19 cents. And in that last quarter report, since that last quarter report, they've opened up 5 new housing segments. They received a credit upgrade from Moody's. Goldman Sachs changed its rating from a sell to a buy. So yeah, KB Homes, could be very interesting, especially, considering what was happening with the other home builders and their earnings reports as of late.
Well, moving into our economic reports, Bill, what are we seeing as far as reports today?
Well, at 10:30 we have the oil stockpile reports coming from the Department of Energy. That's going to be a widely watched one. We also have this morning the GDP figures coming out at 8:30, and then we have the PMI composite flash later this morning as well. And that PMI composite flash is one that people are really going to be paying attention to. There's a lot of Fed speak, which really is the biggest one, obviously, is the Janet Yellen and Powell speaking in front of the Senate Banking Committee. That's the one people are going to be paying attention to today.
Well, moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Yum Brands, ticker YUM. Yum has acquired TikTok Technologies, an Israeli omni-channel ordering and marketing platform company, for an undisclosed amount. One on Dolphin Entertainment, ticker DLPN. Dolphin has shot up more than 75% in pre-market after Tuesday, when the company had announced it had signed a deal with Hall of Fame Resort and Entertainment to offer non-fungible tokens, allowing people to buy and sell exclusive content developed by Hall of Fame and its partners. Hall of Fame is also up about 70% off of the news. One on Smucker's, ticker SJM. Smucker's has formed a strategic partnership with Peet's to develop a liquid coffee product for the Smucker away from home liquid coffee business. In other news, Brainstorm Cell Therapeutics, ticker BCLI, announced today top-line data from the company's phase 2 trial of evaluating its treatment Neuron against progressive multiple sclerosis. Brainstorm Cell's share price is up 26.53% in pre-market. One on ICL, ticker ICL. ICL is acquiring Compass Minerals, ticker CMP, their South American plant nutrition company, for $402 million. News on Intel, ticker INTC. Intel is set to invest $20 billion into 2 semiconductor manufacturing factories on Octillo campus in Chandler, Arizona. Intel share price is up 4% in pre-market. Lastly, for me, one on Northrop Grumman, ticker NOC, which was awarded a $3.93 billion Missile Defense Agency contract. Northrop share price is down 0.05% in pre-market. Bill, what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
I was interested in that story about Peet's Coffee. I had Smucker's Jam. I really like Peet's Coffee. Shane, as you know, I break my news down into alerts, and I'm doing it by specific events, and I'm doing it by specific segments or sectors, and it just gives me the ability to see these hot headlines very quickly. I have my FANG alert that goes off every morning, and I see on Amazon's beginning to roll out an AI powered cameras where they can access a driver's location, movement, and biometric data nationwide. Here's one on Facebook. GoDaddy, ticker GDDY, Grace David Yellow. They're adding Instagram, and Instagram is owned by Facebook. They're adding an Instagram integration into their website and marketing. This makes GoDaddy one of the few, website developers to offer direct posting publishers to Instagram. So it's kind of interesting, that tie-in, and you could see both Facebook and GoDaddy appreciate off of this news. Here's something on Apple. Apparently, the New York State Department of Financial Services said yesterday that it found no evidence of discrimination in applications for that credit card that was launched, by in tandem with Apple and Goldman Sachs late last year. And something on Google. Several of these Bay Area large tech companies, including Twitter and Google, they're planning to keep their offices largely closed for months, despite the government allowing them on Tuesday to open up in a limited capacity. The state of California just doesn't feel it feels that it's safe, but these tech companies are not going to be the first guys bringing all their workers back. My Dow Jones 30 alert. Obviously, it hit on Intel. Intel's jumping up about 5% this morning. There are multiple upgrades coming across the tape on this stock after they issued an update on their Q1 guidance and EPS. IBM, Big Blue, they said that there's news reports out there that's saying that they're a potential suitor for Box. Box is being pushed by an investment group to kind of put itself up for sale, and IBM is its largest customer, so that does make sense. Salesforce, ticker CRM, is also indicated as a possible suitor, but I think IBM might make the most sense here. And Goldman Sachs, let's remember that investment banking revenue is a big portion of their quarterly results. And today they are, they're involved in 3 of the big IPOs coming out: Apple Charlie Victor, David Richard Sam, and David Oscar Charlie N. This DOCN, they just upped the price on. It's going to be a hot IPO, and Goldman's the book runner on it. So it's watch for Goldman to be able to, add some more money to with this quarter's revenue on these hot IPOs they're bringing public. Let's talk about option data. QS, this is QuantumScape. The April calls were really active yesterday as the share sold off 10%. The thing is, QS shows up on my option radar quite often. This is an interesting one to keep an eye on. Let's talk Uptick Financial Limited. This is ticker TIGR, Tom, India, Grace, Richard. Options are priced, for movement. Their earnings are coming out Friday morning. Could be something positive. They could come out with something real positive with their earnings announcement on Friday. So it's one to keep an eye on. And Freeport McMoran. This is ticker FCX, Frank Charlie X-Ray. This is a copper play. And options are really active as the share sold off 5% yesterday. Think about it. This is a copper play. People buy copper when the economy is about to expand. You had some negative news yesterday. The stock sold off, but this FCX, if you can buy it cheap, it's a good stock because it will be moving higher throughout the year. My FDA alert went off on AstraZeneca, ticker AZN, Apple, Zebra, Nancy. The questions on the accuracy of their vaccine data, this is continuing to weigh on the stock. It's an issue for them. Pfizer, they're said to be in the early stages for a study for an oral COVID-19 antiviral therapy. And Pfizer's going to go out. They feel that this COVID vaccine crisis has really taught them a lot, and they're going to be able to come out with a lot of new good vaccines over the next 10 years from what they've learned from working with these other firms to create a vaccine for the COVID-19 pandemic we've had. Let's talk secondaries. Ticker EYES. This is Second Sight. EYES. Elvis Yellow, Elvis Sam. They announced a $27.9 million private placed offering of common stock. It was done at $6. Stock's trading at $9. There's probably room for it to go a little lower. Be careful there. In terms of events, DocuSign, ticker DOCU, David Oscar Charlie Under. They're holding a virtual financial analyst day today. It's supposed to start at 2 p.m. And Interactive Corp, ticker IAC, India Apple Charlie. They have an investors day today that starts at 10 a.m. And that's what I'm seeing this morning, Shane.
Moving into our trade talk picks for today, I'm picking RH, ticker RH. It's an earnings play. The company is set for a 4.76 EPS estimate and is set to report after market close today. Price target increases this morning. There's been price target increases this morning, and recently JP Morgan moved it to 570. Citi also has a buy on it. So this is looking like a big move for after market today, and I think that we can see a rise leading up to it. So RH is my pick. What's yours looking like, Bill?
Well, I'm going to go with KB Homes, KBH again. Again, it's an earnings play. Stock's price for a 10.6% move or $4.50. The option volumes were very active for these April options. I did see that there was elevated put activity yesterday. That's normally a very concerning sign, but I think that there's going to be some momentum here in the stock. With it at 43.85, if I can get in under 43.50, that would be a great opportunity, because I could see it hitting 45 momentarily when the stock releases its earnings, and then maybe pulling back after that announcement. But I'm looking for shares of KBH, for an opportunity to enter into it in a little bit lower price than it is right now. But I think there's room to make some money here.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's take a look at what's hot off the press. So, looking at our newswire alerts, seeing what's streaming in, the news is hitting the tape as we speak, moving the stocks today. Let's go ahead and let traders know what news they need to be looking out for. What are you seeing, Bill?
Microsoft, ticker MSFT, they're making significant investments to further their Canadian innovation and growth. See, Oppenheimer gave McDonald's a price target upgrade up to 260 from 240. Citibank removed its Catalyst watch on Intel this morning.
One on Thermo Fisher, ticker TMO. Thermo Fisher Scientific has rolled out an in-air in-air COVID-19 surveillance solution. Basically, it's a insight to the presence of in-air pathogens.
Here's one that hit my strategic review alert. Laboratory Corp, that's ticker LH. Laboratory Corp of America sets a strategic review, and they hired Goldman Sachs.
One on Sayata, ticker SYTA. Sayata Mobile announces acquisition of Clear RF. It's a $700,000 purchase.
I see Freeport McMoran, they declared a quarterly dividend of 0.075. Ticker MAA, Mid American Apartments, they declared a $0.025 quarterly dividend.
eBay, ticker EBAY, has added a new feature to its site. It's making a move with collectible card games, and it's created its own, it looks like, new navigation feature for that.
Here's one on Kohl's. Kohl's is all over the tape right now, with respect to the election of some activist board members. They're coming out and saying that these board members would disrupt the momentum, and they really hold no benefit to shareholders. As the investment group is really trying to, change Kohl's management structure and increase more value out of the company. But Kohl's feels that they're doing all the right things and they're on track, and their movement over the last 8 months proves it. Here, GameStop, ticker GME, is continuing to mull a stock sale.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm saying.
Same here. So that's going to do it for what's hot at the press. Traders, keep in mind you can receive the same breaking stories we do simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Tuesday. I had Oramed, ticker ORMP. It opened at $12.24, but keep in mind we were looking to get in much lower than that, $11.50. It did hit that point, but it just didn't turn around after. So ended up closing down at $10.93 for a 4.95% loss if you came in at $11.50. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, I did Home. That's at Home, ticker HOME. This was an earnings play, pure and simple. Now, the stock was priced for, for a good, strong move. I watched the stock come out, and, it jumped, right off the gate, and it gave you that $1, 1% gain right away. But if you held on, if you waited till like the earnings, before the earnings announcement, you could have got in this stock at like $30, and then after the earnings, it shot up to 34.75. So it was a big winner, both from off of the opening print and just off of that pop off earnings. This morning, I'm looking at home, and it's bid offer is 33.03 to 33.65. So it is kind of holding some of those gains. It's up 81 cents or 2.62% this morning.
Nice. Well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.